Welcome to the Dumb Idea Podcast Show with Mike and Alex. We thank you for joining us as we have a couple of beers and a cigar and talk about what's going on in our lives. Grab an adult beverage and a smoke and settle in with us. Please like, subscribe, and comment on each show so we can hear whether you agree or disagree with our take on things. Listen wherever your favorite podcasts are and at www.dumbideapodcast.com.
Okay. So my refrigerator dies a couple weeks ago. And it started dying slowly. It was an LG refrigerator, which I've later heard are not the best refrigerators, even though they look really cool. Make good cell phones, but and TVs, but not so much in the refrigerator department. So it starts dying slowly over time, and we notice that it won't keep things frozen, but the refrigerator itself still works, so we start looking for one. We have a repair guy come out. The repair guy says, he goes, I can fix it for $1,000, and it might last you a year, it might last you 3 years, it might last you a week. Can't tell. So we decided to bite the bullet and buy a new refrigerator. So we go to one of the big retailers to buy this refrigerator. I buy it online.
You can name names. It's all right.
Oh, yeah. So I go to Homey D, to the orange one, and buy the refrigerator. And I buy it online. So when I buy it, they tell me, I also order an ice maker, a secondary ice maker. So I buy it. They say the ice maker's out of stock. Okay, it'll be back ordered. But they give me an expected delivery date of the refrigerator, and we also got a microwave for later that week. Awesome. So we get a call on Thursday telling us when our expected delivery date is, and they tell us that it's like July 20th. Now, this is June, early June. So we're like, that doesn't make any sense. Why is that? And they said, oh, well, the ice maker's on back order. Okay. So meanwhile, this is a bunch of phone calls and going through the menu and press 1 for this and 2 for this and then say yes. Now, I can't understand how we have facial recognition, voice recognition, all this stuff, and it asks you a question for delivery problem, say yes. And you say yes. And it says, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. For delivery problem, so you do this over and over again, it still can't hear you. So eventually you talk to somebody, you have to tell them the story, then they transfer you to somebody else, you tell them the story. You go on and on and on and on and on. Now, you hear people typing every time you tell the story. You hear a keyboard going in the background. So you'd think when they transfer your call to the next level, that would go with them. Oh, no, they want to hear the story over again. And then the next one wants to hear the story over again. So you end up telling the story 13 times throughout this whole mess.
It's the torture test to make sure you're serious.
Right. So my patience for this is very low. I generally won't have, if it's not something really big like that, I'll just hang up because I'm not waiting. They know that they're going to make me hang up the phone. And I'm that guy that doesn't have the time to deal with it. Well, I have plenty of time. I just don't want to deal with it. There are other things I'd rather do. So it turns out that we end up going through 4 expected delivery dates with no refrigerator. This problem goes on for weeks. Now, we have another refrigerator. It's in the basement, which means I have to walk up and down the steps to get stuff out of the refrigerator.
Nobody got time for that.
No. And the first week it was fun. Like, hey, let's get takeout every day. You know, it was a week of my birthday. Like, let's, this will be cool. Mm. Hey, what do you want tonight? Chinese? Let's do it. Pizza? Let's do it. But that got old after a while.
Gets old on the wallet too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, but it keeps happening. So rather than being upfront and honest and saying, hey, we can't make this delivery, they go and they promise you the world and then don't deliver. Literally don't deliver. And then it goes to the next level. It happens again and again and again. And it's almost like they're so desperate to make that sale that have they just been honest in the beginning and said, hey, we can't make this delivery, I would have changed the product or changed retailers.
Right.
But I wouldn't have this huge negative taste in my mouth from Home Depot. Now, I can tell you that I can go and say all day, I'm never going to Home Depot again. We all know that's not true.
We're going Home Depot. Right. But they were basically, there's the old mantra in business, under promise, over deliver. Except they were under promising or over promising and under delivering.
Right, and
so
not
far.
delivering.
Right, so not doing. They're not doing great right now.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
And which begs the question. I've had experiences with dealing with these big companies and even smaller ones, and the old mantra that customer's always right. And I kind of have the feeling that that's kind of going away, that the customer isn't always right. In fact, they generally just want you to go away,
Right,
and not have to deal with it. And there are studies that have proven this, that if someone has a negative experience, they tell 30 people. If they have a positive experience, they tell 2.
yeah.
So, if you put the extra effort into making it right or doing it right, then that goes a much longer way than doing it the way they did it.
So, contrary to what you're saying, though, if a company does something right, customer service wise, they might not leave reviews on a review website, but the word of mouth, that's number one referral for any company.
Oh, yeah.
Is word of mouth,
Yeah.
right? That spreads quicker than any negative review.
Yep.
Because word of mouth, if it's coming from someone you know, someone you trust, a friend, coworker, whatever, it holds far more weight than an anonymous guy online, right? The only place where that might not hold true is Yelp and restaurants.
Well,
right?
Yelp is comical. Yelp, sometimes it's funny just to read Yelp reviews.
Right.
The worst ever. Like, really.
Well, that's why you got to go with the aggregate, right?
Yeah.
So when we're looking on Yelp, we're looking for at least 100 reviews.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's got like 4.5 stars after 100 reviews, all right, the place is doing a lot of stuff right.
Yeah.
Whereas after 100 to 500 reviews, you're still poking around 3.5 stars.
Yeah.
You're probably not doing a great job.
Right.
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 Now, on the flip side of Home Depot, I had a very good experience where our fridge also died. Our fridges died almost exactly the same time. So
I think they had like it was like a suicide contract with each other. Listen, I don't know what they were.
The things are probably talking to each other over Wi-Fi or some junk, Who knows what's happening? But anyway, my fridge decides to die. Your fridge goes like within 2-3 days, you're out too.
Oh yeah.
So my wife goes online. Josh, she actually went to the store with my mother, who was also looking at washers and dryers. She's in there. She says, "I like this one. Let's do it." Mm-hmm. She goes, "I'm tired of shopping. I'm tired of looking." Because that's another thing. Trying to compare models is ridiculous.
It's easy with a car.
Yeah.
Because you kind of generally know, like, them.
Right.
But a refrigerator?
Yeah. I have no idea if a GE is better than Whirlpool, is better than Kenmore, is better than Samsung, is better than LG. You want to know what?
I can tell you they're all better than LG.
Well, here's the thing. My Samsung, garbage. Mm-hmm. Straight up garbage.
Yeah.
In fact, I also had a guy that came to repair it probably 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. He said, "Look, these things have a known defect in the cooling system. That's what needs to be replaced, or you can just unplug it, let it thaw out, and plug it back in, let it go again." Right? Okay. Well, unfortunately, when you do that, the ice melts, water builds up underneath the drawer over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so we're stuck and sitting there just sopping it up with towels.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. So we're like, okay, we're gonna go get some, and it's not gonna be LG, it's not gonna be not gonna be Samsung. I'm done with this. Go. What's next?
Yeah.
Now the GE is great, but I haven't heard much bad about GE. So we're like, okay, this is the GE we're gonna get. We bought it online. This is the size we want. Great. Call up. The delivery was less than satisfactory. However, we had one date. They came, and then the guy looked at us and said, "We don't touch copper lines."
Oh, we got that one too.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what do you mean you don't you're an installation guy? Well, we don't touch copper.
Yeah.
I went down to my basement, shut off the main water to my house, unscrewed the water line from my old fridge just so they would take the old one out and leave the new one. Because the guy's like, well, we could leave it here. It's like, yeah, but then I got 2 fridges in my house.
Right. One of which doesn't work.
This one's got to go.
Yeah.
All right. So I figure out, I take the copper line, screw it right in. Look, I know it's not a great solution, but it makes it so I can turn the water back onto my house and I don't have a flood. Great. All right. But I'm looking at the guy going, like, I'm about to tip this dude $40.
Yeah.
Him and his boy for bringing it in because they didn't bang up my walls. But you're not going to touch this little copper line? 3 seconds. Turn a knob, unscrew it, Screw it back in.
Yeah.
You can't do that?
Right.
Because it's copper?
Yeah.
Well, burn your fingers off?
And we ran into that too, because they actually did show up twice with a refrigerator. So they bring it in and they say, oh, you have a copper, that you have a copper line. Now, I was at work when this happened. My wife's home. So I say, put the dude on the phone. So I talk to him, and there's a language barrier between the two of us, and we're talking over cell phone, and Lindsay said, my wife said he never took his mask off, which kind of makes it difficult to talk on a phone. But I was able to communicate with him, and I said, look, what's the problem with we can't touch copper? I said, okay. I said, and then he tells me there's no shutoff valve. I said, there is a shutoff valve. It's in the basement. I turned it off this morning before I left. So, nope, we can't touch copper. I said, can you just disconnect it? Nope, can't touch it at all. I said, so you're telling me that you can't just disconnect it?
No.
And I was trying to think. So I told Lindsay, I said, hey, is Ty there? Run across the street and is Rob there? Nobody's around.
Right.
Because they could have just come over and twisted it off. No problem. I actually had a braided steel water line. I just hadn't put it in yet. Mm-hmm. Like, it was there.
Yeah.
So when I talked to customer service for like the 15th time, I tell them about this, and they said, oh, well, it's in the email we sent you.
Yeah, who reads that?
Yeah, so it's buried in there in tiny little print. I said, you need to put that. I said, you're wasting everyone's time here. I said, you need to put that, like, when you order this thing, it needs to be like a picture that says, if you have something like this, we can't deal with it. You need to do X, Y, Z prior to delivery.
Because think about it. You and I had the same issue.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that 9 out of 10 people they go to don't have the same setup.
Right. Right.
Or maybe that's a big exception. I'll say 6 out of 10. So
Yeah.
60% of the time, you got your guy there saying, I can't touch this.
Yeah, because back in the day,
get out of here with this nonsense.
Because back in the day, the way to do it was a saddleback valve that would screw into the pipe, and then that copper line would come off of it, drill a hole through the floor, connect the refrigerator to that.
Right.
So that's what we had going on. And the reason I had the braided steel line is because I had a leak that I repaired on myself. And that was actually pretty easy fix, unlike most of my plumbing projects, one of which I still have going on to this day. And I was able to do it, but it's like you can't even just disconnect it and get the old fridge out of there.
Right.
You can't even do that. Nope. And they're just leaning on policy, and I get it, probably because someone screwed something up and they got sued or whatever.
Well, they probably broke the copper, or bent the copper, broke it or whatever, snapped off, caused a flood in someone's house. Now Home Depot's on the hook for the flood.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Now the policy is we don't touch copper.
Right.
I get it.
Right. And I understand it. However, I'm telling you, dude, it's disconnected. I'm on my way home. I'm currently traveling at 90 miles an hour to get home to catch you guys while you're there.
Right.
Just disconnect it. Like, you don't have to connect it. I have another line. I can connect the refrigerator. It's easy enough to do. Nope. Okay. So there's strike 15. Like you got, like, we've struck out the entire order.
Right.
Like, with it by this point. And, I guess they tell people to just, hey, this is the policy, stick to it.
Right.
Don't deviate. There's no room for deviation.
Well, because it's not worth them. So let's say 6 out of 10 people got copper. 5 out of 10 times they touch it. That one time they cause an issue.
Yeah.
With the flood, and let's say look, the guy did it for you.
Right.
He's not supposed to. He did it for you, but what if you're that 1 out of 10 that says, well, you shouldn't have done it anyway, now I'm going to sue Home Depot for the repairs of my house.
Yeah.
And there's that one guy.
Oh, there's always...
You want to know what it goes back to? And I think this was the start of where customer service went away from the customer's always right. You remember this probably, I think we were about probably early teens. Mm-hmm. The McDonald's coffee lawsuit.
Yes.
Apparently it was, I don't know if it was a lady or a guy, but they spilled the coffee on themselves because the top wasn't put on properly. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows that those tops, when they went on top of the styrofoam, they were always going to be loose, right?
Yeah.
And this dummy probably either squeezed the cup too hard, bumped into something, top comes off, burns their hand.
Well, so yeah,
and they blame McDonald's.
Yeah, she put
not
it,
them.
Well, she put it between her legs.
There you go. All right.
And that's what, rather than using the cup holder in the car,
Sure. Right.
You know, and she put it between her legs. Now the coffee was super hot.
But coffee's hot.
Yeah, what do you expect?
Everyone knows it's hot.
Right.
That's why it's on the cup. Actually, I don't know if on the cup it said hot back then, but it does now.
Oh, yeah, to let you know.
To let you know it's hot.
Yeah.
But I think eventually some of these companies started to realize that even if I provide great customer service 9 out of 10 times, I'm gonna upset someone that 1 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to offer them free French fries or another free coffee, and that's not enough for them. The I'm sorry is not enough for them.
Yeah.
They're going to look for the payday.
Yep. And
also that one person, that 1 out of 10, like you said, the angry people are the loudest.
Yeah.
They're in today's day and age, now it's a post on Facebook. Now it's a post on Yelp. And, you know, like it or not, people do look at reviews online. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people will go and get advice from someone else. But let's say refrigerators, you buy them once every 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you ask your group of friends, hey, where did you get a refrigerator? Were you happy with it? Well, I haven't bought one in 5 years. The models aren't the same anymore. It might be the same 5 vendors, or maybe the small appliance store that I got my fridge from doesn't exist anymore because they went out of business because Best Buy undercut them.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Well, it's like when I bought the LG fridge that died, we got it from H.H. Gregg.
Yeah.
And
it's gone.
Yeah, completely gone.
Yeah.
So I never buy those extended warranties from the store.
Right.
But it's like, I'm glad I didn't, because who am I going to call?
Right. Now you're going to call nobody.
Yeah.
What are you going to call the holding company?
Yeah.
That now owns whatever's left of H.H. Gregg, which is nothing?
Right.
Yeah, they'll come right over.
I'm sure they're on the way from there.
They'll be as prompt as the Home Depot delivery guys.
Right.
Yeah, and they'll be like, oh, no, sorry.
Yeah.
We can't do anything for you.
But, you know, there are some simple things that could have been done in this situation that, to me, it doesn't take a lot of, you know, if you're not doing copper, you can't put it in fine print. Nobody reads that stuff.
Right.
And
that's something you could easily put, like they put 3 things, like they put 3 bullet points in the email right underneath the fridge name.
Yeah.
And they're big, and you're right, they have pictures on them.
Yeah.
It's like a picture circle and words that are bold, and they're like bigger font than everything else.
Yeah.
Put a 4th one.
Yeah.
It says copper lines. If you have a copper line, disconnect it from your fridge and turn off your main water line.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
It would solve that problem.
Yeah. And that would have solved one of the failed delivery attempts.
True. Now, I will say, when we ordered the fridge from Home Depot. They came out the day they said they were going to come out. Delivery had a little snag to it. But then we had another issue. And that was we had a pretty sizable dent in the side of it that we didn't see because we were looking at everything else in the fridge. We didn't even think to look at the side or even the back of it. And there was a dent. Mm-hmm. We're like, well, we already took it. We already accepted this. I'm not going to have someone come back out to take it back. Because I think within 36 hours you can have them come back out.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. So we called Home Depot. Mm-hmm. Lovely lady picked up the phone. And I said, look, this is the situation. We didn't see this dent. It's a big dent or sizable dent. Now, don't get me wrong. We got a magnet over top with a picture on it. Can't see it anymore. Right?
Yeah.
All right. And she's like, hey, I'm sorry to hear that. Let me call the GE rep because Home Depot doesn't stock any of this stuff. They're basically delivering from a GE warehouse.
Yeah.
But Home Depot's like the broker.
Yeah.
All right. So they're like, let me call the GE rep and we'll see what we can do. Supposed to be on hold for like 15 minutes. Gets back on the line. Well, they offered you $400.
Mm-hmm.
I said, thought about it. I'm like, hey, $400, it's better than nothing. And I was like, Janice, we're probably going to take this $400. I don't want to send it back. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but look, this isn't coming out of Home Depot's pocket. If it's coming out of GE's pocket, would you mind going back and asking for $600? Would you mind? Like, look, does it hurt to try?
Yeah.
And she says, I hear you. She goes, I'm going to try for you. And I'm like, yeah, right. You know, she's not doing it. She's going to call, or she's going to put me on hold.
Put your whole check Facebook.
And she's looking at like she's playing Minesweeper or something.
Right.
Right. She puts me on hold another 10 minutes. Gets back to me. She says, She goes, I can't believe this, but they're going to give you 600. They're giving you the 600.
Okay.
And I said, you know what, Janice, I'll take it. And I thank you for being my advocate, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the Home Depot experience was actually positive.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I got a $2,000 fridge with a dent in it, but
Right.
you know, I actually got it for $1,400 now, which makes that dent all the easier on the eyes.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm okay. But Home Depot in my eyes did good by us.
You're right.
But if I were in your shoes, you know, Lowe's is an extra 15 minutes out of the way, but I might be heading there next time.
Well, and what we ended up doing was going to Best Buy, and they were great. It was easy. But now the difference is we went there in person.
Yeah.
We didn't do it online. And I'm still kind of old school. I buy a lot of stuff. I like to go to the store to buy stuff.
Well, my wife went to the store and looked at this fridge.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we just bought it all online. But I mean, we did the purchase online, but she saw it in person.
Yeah. And you know, like I'll get something from Bass Pro that I can very easily just order it online. But I like to go up to Bass Pro. You know.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain things that, like, I buy the same pair of shoes that I bought them for, like, I buy them from Amazon, but it's literally the same brand and model.
Yeah.
That they discontinued everywhere else. But I know what I'm getting, so I don't need to go. I don't need to go try these shoes on,
Right.
Because I've been wearing them for 6 years.
Yeah.
Right. But other stuff, like, it's like you don't want to play the clothes game.
No.
Right. Where you get the clothes, they don't fit right, or the shirt's not right. It's not long enough in certain places, or the arms are too. Whatever, the bathing suit's too big or too small,
Well,
whatever.
And then certain brands.
And then you
like,
got to send it back in the mail.
Right.
It's like, oh, I don't want to deal with
No,
this.
because then, like, I have a pair of shoes in my basement right now that were supposed to be sent back in the mail because they didn't fit, and they're still there.
I got a bathing suit in my room. Same deal.
And the thing is, like, certain manufacturers, like Under Armour's cut smaller than other, you know, than other companies. So if you get Under Armour, but if you don't know that, you just, oh, that's a nice Under Armour shirt. I'll get it. I normally wear 2X or 3X or whatever it is, and it shows up, and like, I look like, you know, what is this, medium?
Right.
But it's cut smaller. It's just the way they do things. And there's
That slim fit crap.
Whoever thought of that can go F
You need to
themselves.
stop that nonsense. Look, I get it. You're jacked. You're buff. You got big lats
Yeah.
and a small waist. I get it. You didn't do core day. You were buffing out on biceps and rowing machines.
Right.
And now you want something that's gonna be snug.
Yeah.
Get out of here with your weird shaped body.
You're into fitness.
Yeah.
I'm into fitness burrito in my mouth.
Right.
And, you know.
And I gotta pay the price because they're making everything fit for you.
Right.
Stop.
Yeah, knock that off. But, I mean, some companies are real good about returns.
Most of them are.
Amazon is, like, they don't even, they're like, just send it back.
You don't even need a reason.
Oh, yeah.
Just bring it to UPS. They'll even package it for you.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, like we ordered a bouncy house from Amazon, and it had a hole in it, like it busted at the seam, and it wasn't like we had 40 kids in there. Like there were 3 little kids jumping around in there, and it busted at the seam. And Lindsay called and said, "Hey," they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna send you a new one. Just send the old one back." So I stuffed it. I somehow managed to get this thing back into the original box and get it sealed up, and we sent it back, and there's no problems. Like, you know, but I think sometimes with them, they're buying so much, and it really shows how little they're probably paying for this stuff.
Well,
that
a lot of times though, they're not even the ones buying it.
Yeah.
So Amazon's got what they got, Freight by Amazon. We're essentially like, let's say I've got my own business, and I can buy 1,000 of a product, ship it to Amazon. They'll warehouse it, and when someone buys it, they'll ship it for me.
Uh-huh.
But they don't own the merchandise. I do.
Right.
And they take like a 30% cut.
Wow.
If you ever do a YouTube search for FBA Amazon.
Okay.
And there's a couple guys that kind of like have their own YouTube channels based around it.
Yeah.
I stumbled across it one day. That's how I found out about it. But here's the thing, though. If you don't have... don't worry, Amazon has a lot of inventory of their own, right? But if you're the toy store down the road, right, you don't have $10 million of inventory in stock where someone returns that one Furby. You're like, fine, return the Furby. I'm cool. Because what Amazon's like, they're like, look, I'm not going to give you a hassle because I know you've already got 10 other things in your cart that you're ready to buy for $150.
Yeah.
So this $10 Furby that you want to return, great, return it. In fact, if you don't return it, not that big of a deal because you got $150 more of merchandise in your cart that you're going to buy.
Yeah.
I'm going to make more than that $10 profit than the return item, right? The toy store down the road, though, doesn't have that advantage. He's going to put that Furby back into stock unless it's damaged. And if it's damaged, he's got to return it back to his supplier, get his money back. So a store like that can't do returns for everything. They don't have that buying power. And that's kind of like where Amazon, it's like that hidden secret of Amazon.
Yeah.
It's why they can do that. It's why they can say, sure, just send it back. We'll take care of it. Doesn't matter the reason. The other guy at the store is like, he's got to do it too because Amazon's doing it, but he's taking a much bigger hit. Yeah. One, his costs are probably $1 or $2 higher per item. And two, you're only going in that store maybe 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
So instead of $150 in your cart in Amazon, every other week, he sees you 5 times a year and gets $150 out of you total.
Yeah.
Amazon's getting $3 to $4 grand, if not more, out of you.
Well, the Amazon truck can't drive past my house.
Right.
So now, on a little side note, I keep putting things in my Amazon cart or my wife and I that I want that has nothing to do with anything. Because one time I had to order something for the house, so I order it and I just bought everything that was in the cart. So all this stuff comes, and it was stuff we needed, gifts for kids coming up, and all this stuff shows up. And my wife said, well, what? You bought all this stuff. We didn't need to buy all that now. So I just click.
Right.
So I'm thinking I'll just start putting stuff in the cart, hoping that she'll do the same thing. And she's much better at this than I am. She has not yet clicked buy all like, hey, what's this what's this dot reticle site doing in here? Like, what's this air compressor doing? Yeah, right. Click buy all.
Right. Well, it's here now.
Yeah.
Right?
So here's send it back.
Here's a fun hint with Amazon. A reason to put something that you're shopping for in your cart, even if you don't plan on buying it, is that when the price goes down, they'll email you.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually like kind of doing like, so there's other sites like Camel. You can put Amazon stuff in there and they let you know, like you could say, hey, look, I want to get this like hard drive for $100. Right now it's listed for $150. When it drops below your price, they send you an email.
Yeah.
Well, if you just put that item in your cart, it just lets you know when the price goes down or up. So it's kind of like a price tracker for you. So you can, like, if you want to buy, like, let's say you want a humidors, but you don't know which one, you put 3 in your cart, see which one goes down. If you're just looking for value, you find, okay, well, this one went down $10 or it's on sale. I'm going to snatch this one. Yeah. And then you get rid of the other 2. But it's a nice way to track prices. But that's a little Amazon hack for the peoples.
Oh, yeah. See, I didn't know that, so I learned something today.
But yeah, when it comes to customer service, though, it's like you can't do the customers always right anymore. Because especially nowadays with the internet, everyone is... Where in the past people would kind of hold their tongue a little bit. Now nobody holds their tongue.
No,
it's
like
they
probably should.
Yeah, but they're gonna yell at your 15-year-old employee.
Yep.
And as a boss, back in the day, they would let you yell at the 15-year-old employee, and the boss would come around, the manager of the store would come around and be like, oh, well, what can I do for you? What can we do to make this right?
Yeah. Now,
if the manager does that, the lady, there is nothing to do to make it right.
Yeah.
She's just so irate.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think companies and store managers and business owners are like, you know what? Trying to make it right isn't going to make it right with this person. They're still going to leave a bad review.
Yeah.
They're not going to appreciate what I'm doing. So why do it?
Yeah.
You just say, you know what? Toss on.
Right.
And sometimes, it actually has some kind of the little opposite effect where you think like other people in the store might be turned off by that, but other times other people see how that person's acting and like, yeah, you should have done that.
Yeah.
And they still stuff shot there.
Yeah, and that gets just into the general shittiness of the way a lot of people behave anyway. And, it's just, when they get into hyperbole and the worst ever, and like, really, is that the worst meal you've ever had?
Or you go on YouTube, it's like, this Tucker Carlson destroys the left.
Yeah.
Or
Owns the libs.
Or Don Lemon wrecks the rioters or something. Like, it's like, what? That's like, hey, I remember when we were young, the word wrecked meant like the person was like in a coma.
Yeah, about to die.
Yeah. No, not today. Today just means, oh, he wrecked them with words. Meanwhile, he like called them like a flower or something.
Yeah,
it's like, what the heck is
or
this?
brought up some obscure counterpoint to their obscure point.
So it's all clickbait. Like, they want you to click. Like, oh, I'm going to see it today. Today's the day.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, this guy's gonna lose it.
He lost his job.
They're going full Britney Spears, shaved head, beating a limo up with an umbrella. That's what they're no. But the hyperbole of some of these, and like the worst ever. Like, it really is that the worst ever. Now I will say that this particular experience with Home Depot is probably the worst I've had with any company, in recent memory. But it's not the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It's not the worst thing that's ever happened to anybody. Like, everyone's alive, and that's kind of where my baseline is. Like, is everybody alive?
Yeah.
Does everybody have all the holes in their body that they were born with? Okay, right. We're good. But you'll see people like just winging off like about the smallest thing, and it really. So I get kind of why companies like, you know what, like you said, no matter what we do, they're on their soapbox and they're just going to stay there. So, let's just let them run their mouth. And I think one of the things is that really, like, does one bad Yelp review destroy your business?
I don't think so. Like I said, when you're looking at the reviews now, no one expects to see full 5 stars after like 100 reviews anymore. Yeah. It's almost impossible. You're gonna piss someone off. Yep. And I think the majority of people who read these reviews understand that. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, they're never gonna find a place to eat. No. Because we when we went on our trip, we go on Yelp and we sort by stars. Mm-hmm. There's not one. I mean, if it's got 10 reviews, sure, there might be a 5 star. Yeah. But for the most part, if there's over like 20, 25 reviews, one person had a bad experience. Yeah. And you're not going to, any reasonable person is going to be like, well, you're not going to please everybody all the time. Yeah. Or what if someone's great review is 3 stars?
Yeah, some people rate harder than others.
Right. I mean, some of these people think they're like real critics, right? Like their star system is 1 was awful, 2 was all right, 3 was good, 4 was exceptional, 5 was over the moon. Yeah. And no one's ever going to get their 5. Right. So, it's like, okay. Yeah, easy there, Siskel and Ebert.
There's no control group. Like, this is not the Michelin rating of the
right. These people actually think they're giving the Michelin stars. That's what they think I'm going to go on Yelp and destroy these people.
Yeah, like, dude, it's a Denny's.
Right. I gave Denny's 2 stars. How dare they mess up my Grand Slam?
But I think some of it for people is really it's perspective, and I got a good dose of perspective. So my son, he broke his leg. 3-year-old, he running on the pool deck, he falls, and so we're up at Hopkins, and I had to go to the pharmacy to get medicine for him before we left, and they said 45 minutes. So I come back, I go, but it's still not done, and the first time I went up, there's this lady just berating the person. And I get it. She called. They said it was ready. She shows up on her lunch break. It's not ready yet. I understand. But the language that was coming out of this person's mouth was not commensurate with the offense that was committed against her. Like, it was just, like, people are, like, looking at her like, you're a little over the top here. Right. And just going after this. And the person's probably 22-year-old girl working at the pharmacy at Hopkins. And so I go through the second time, they don't have my prescription ready. I was a little annoyed, but in the line, I was talking to a woman who was there because her daughter, now this is Hopkins, so like there's kids there that are really, really sick. Right. Like my son had a bad injury, but he's going to be fine. Yep. in the end. He's going to be absolutely fine. It's a bummer for the summertime, but it's not, in the greater scheme of things, like, I'm sure this lady would trade places with me in a heartbeat.
Right.
And to see this, so when I get up and I didn't have, his medicine wasn't ready, it really kind of gave me a dose of reality. Like, this isn't the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Right. I'm going to go sit on this couch over here and play on my phone. And then in 15 minutes, I'll come back and I'll stand in this line again and I'll get the medicine and I'll walk out. But to get that perspective that really it's not as bad as you make it out to, you might be inconvenienced and this and that. But really, like, there's a lot of people that have a lot more thing. And, talking to this woman who's there, like, her daughter, like, serious, she has cancer and is in for treatments and this, and she's picking up, like, the meds that she's picking up are crazy. But she's as cool and calm as collected, like, doesn't care because she's got it, like, she's dealing with real stuff. And me to not have, so what am I going to be? But it's funny to see just an interesting contrast between my medicine's not ready yet and I'm going to lose my mind, and this other lady is like, yeah, whatever, doesn't matter. So,
yeah, and obviously it's not it's not going to be pertinent to everybody because obviously you're going to get some people on a bad day.
Yeah,
right, and it's just the last thing to put them over the top. But like I can relate to that just because I remember, like, when I was going through some treatments about 10 years ago, we went to the local pharmacy, and every 2 weeks I came for the same drug. Mm-hmm. It was a anti-nausea drug at the time. And I got there a day after treatment, and right after treatment, I'd go there, I'd pick up the drug, right? And the guy was like, well, we don't have it. Mm-hmm. This is like the 6th time I've been coming in.
Yeah.
You know what this drug is. You know why I'm getting it. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't think, as someone who's been coming in here for the last 12 weeks, every other week to get this same drug that no one else is getting, I'm coming back for it.
Yeah.
That you didn't think to call it in.
Right.
But instead of going off on the guy, I'm like, all right, look, when are you going to have it? He goes, I'll have it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I said, all right, do me a favor, though. Every 2 weeks, I'm going to be here, and I'm going to need this drug.
Yeah.
It's prescribed by my doctor. I only need it for a couple more times. Can you make sure it's here? Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah. I was like, cool, man. Thanks. If I berate that guy, no shot it's there.
Yeah, screw you.
Exactly. And no matter what drug it is.
Right. And especially, I think, if you're going to a bigger pharmacy or something like that, where, like you're not personally vested in the success or failure of that company. No, it's a job, and
they're treating them like garbage.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
They're like, why should I do anything for this? Look, they give me, other than the paycheck, which, don't get me wrong, is a benefit all in itself. I get that, but
yeah,
some of these companies don't treat employees that great. And they're not going to go above and beyond. It's not like working at Costco.
Yeah.
Like, employees that work at Costco love working at Costco.
Oh, yeah.
Because they pay over minimum wage.
Yep.
They have great benefits. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I always find it funny that companies are always like, well, we keep wages low so we can keep prices low. Okay, well, not every company does that.
Right.
And there's another way to succeed here.
And here's the thing. The market is going to pay, and that whole argument about, wages, we had to ship these jobs overseas because you know how much XYZ would cost if an American built it? No, it would cost exactly the same. It's just their profit margins wouldn't make as much money.
Right.
Because the market's only going to bear a certain cost.
Like Apple, Apple yesterday, I think they recorded like $6.1 billion in profit for the quarter on iPhone sales. So you're telling me that you couldn't, instead of charging $1,000 for that iPhone, you couldn't charge $700?
Yeah.
And still make a $20 billion profit?
Yeah. Or
on top of the record cash hoard you have.
Yeah. Or build it.
Or build it in America.
In here.
Yeah. Charge that $1,000.
Yeah.
And only make that $300, $400 profit on that thing.
Yeah.
and you'll have a $50 billion profit instead of 60. Get the hell out of here with this.
Yeah.
You could, but you're not, because the corporate governance of every single company is to maximize shareholder wealth. It's in every single company's manifesto.
Yep. Yeah, so like Ford Motor Company, their mission is not to build the best cars they can.
Nope.
Boeing is not to build the best aircraft. You can name any company. It is to maximize shareholder profit, which is, like with the refrigerator, how much would it cost to add that little picture?
Nothing. Literally, you got a web developer on staff.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not contracting. They probably have some pretty good people they have a good website.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think, as far as, I see both sides of customer service. I also see that there's shopper loyalty for the companies that do it right.
Yeah.
For example, like, I know people bash Amazon. I'm not saying that their hiring and worker practices are great, but people, you're never going to run a successful boycott of Amazon.
Yeah.
Because one, it's really easy to buy stuff. Two, the prices are really good for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And three, if I don't like it, I can return it without any hassle whatsoever.
Right.
And that's all part of customer service, right?
Mm-hmm.
Easy to shop, prices are good, I can return what I don't want.
Yeah.
Same thing, but look at the opposite. You go to Costco, right? Yes, prices are lower, but there's a trade-off. One, I got to pay an annual membership.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I got to buy larger quantities on most things. But three, I can return anything for any reason whatsoever. And any person in that store, it's not like going to Home Depot. You go to Home Depot, you ask someone somebody where something is, and it's like you ask them to kill their dog. You go into Costco, you can stop any employee anywhere, anytime, ask them where something is, they know where it is, and they're happy to take you there and get it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've seen more smiling faces of employees than at a Costco.
Yeah.
They're obviously doing something right. And they're not the only ones. There's other companies that do this.
Mm-hmm.
But happy employees makes good customer service.
Yeah.
Because they're happy to do it for the customer, because the company's not screwing them over.
Right.
And I think that's part of it. I think that's part of what leads to good customer service.
And if your company's treating you well, now they might not be, it's not at the same level as, a small business owner who, like, the success of that business has a direct effect on the success of them personally.
Right.
But still, if you like where you work and you like what you're doing, and they're treating you well, then you're going to want that company to succeed.
Absolutely. Your pay is good.
Yeah.
The boss treats you good. Like, you got to go to a doctor's appointment. They're not nickel and diming you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And I've met, another company that treats people well, and, from the employees of the company that I've dealt with is Southwest. They treat their, I love flying Southwest. And I've known people from a pilot to a ramper, someone loading baggages to, like, buddy of mine is the supervisor there, and he is in charge of all their ground ops, and they love working for the company. Yeah. It's, because that valuing their employees is kind of a corporate ethos. So, and I've always really been treated well by them. So, and I'm not a business traveler. I'm not traveling all over the place.
Right. 2 times a year when I'm traveling on Southwest, they're super friendly.
Yeah.
Like, when there's a delay, you walk up, they let you know what's going on.
Yep.
It's not, well, we'll let you know in 20 minutes. No.
Yeah.
This is the situation. Or they'll tell everybody in the terminal. It's not one of those, well, we don't know. Flight's canceled.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're upfront. They're somewhat honest. I mean, they're honest with you. But you get on the plane, the flight attendant's friendly. She's smiling at you. It's not like she doesn't look like she's been beaten over the head 50 times.
Yeah.
And that she just wants to jump off the plane.
Yep.
The pilots are cracking jokes through the microphone. Mm-hmm. No, don't get me wrong. They might be forced to do it. But you know what? All right. I still feel like it's natural.
Yeah. It doesn't sound too contrived. I mean, but I've always enjoyed it. And I've flown other airlines that, and I've flown others where I've flown in first class and then in coach, and it's the difference. And granted, you're paying a lot of money for that first class ticket. I didn't. We got upgraded. But still, you can see the difference in how they treat people, but the first class treatment isn't friendly, jovial banter, and it's like
they're business like.
Yeah.
Like they're there to serve you.
Oh yeah.
Because they know what you paid for that ticket.
Yeah.
Or what somebody paid for that ticket.
Right.
And they're like, they don't. That's where that's where those flights make their money.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't cost them any extra. You're not weighing that much more that you're costing more in the fuel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But the price you paid versus the guy in coach.
Oh yeah.
Like you probably covered 2 to 3 rows of coach with that one first class ticket.
Yeah.
So those people up front. I mean, I think the stewardesses know where their bread's buttered. They're like, okay.
Yeah.
And plus, I gotta imagine they get tipped.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't tip them, but then I was just
Someone else did.
upgrade.
That lady probably looked at you like, I ain't getting any money out of you. Here's your water, plebe.
Yeah. You should be back
Peasant.
there. But yeah, it's definitely. But I liked the Southwest experience, if you will. And any problems I've had when I fly were rectified pretty quick. It wasn't a million phone calls or, in every airport, the ugly side of people really comes out at
the dregs of society are on flights.
Yeah.
Like, especially lately. Some people just need get on the plane, sit down, do what the flight attendant asks you to do.
Yeah.
And if the flight gets to where you're going, thank them and get off.
Yeah.
Like, stop giving these people a hard time.
And don't clap when they land.
Yeah, please.
Like, it's so dumb.
Come on, pilot.
Like, what'd you think? Was like, you got to crash? Like,
Right.
Oh, thank God this airplane landed. Like all the other ones I flew crashed.
Save us from a travel, and we're clapping because the guy got there like everybody else. Yeah, I think like the last 3 crashes were like from like conspiracy theory missiles.
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah, like they went down. Like the one in Malaysia that
just disappeared.
Nobody still knows how that thing went down.
And then there's the other one that the Russians shot down over Ukraine.
Oh, Ukraine, right?
Yeah,
right. And then I think there was another one where somebody got shot down.
Yeah,
it wasn't pilot error.
Yeah.
Or how about actually though? I will say this though, the Boeing issue. Oh, the 737 Max or something.
Max,
that one that was a little bit on the Boeing.
You know, I have talked to a 737 pilot, and he said like you just pull the stick back, the autopilot goes off, and you hand fly the jet.
Yeah, they need to stop that.
So
let the pilot fly the damn plane.
Yeah,
I get autopilot once you're in the air.
Yeah,
but can we at least let them take off and land?
Yeah,
they know what they're doing.
And it was funny because he said I was asking him about it, and he goes, "Yeah, it's stick shakers going off. You yoke if you pull the yoke back, the autopilot disengages. When it feels any significant input, the autopilot disengages and it'll just fly." And then you just fly it to where you're going, or go to declare an emergency and land.
Yeah,
like it's not, but those ones happen again. I think the one crash was a foreign carrier, so they operate under different.
They got the B team flying that.
Yeah. Well, some of them they'll have those cruise pilots on the bigger jets that are just they don't know how to land or take off. They just sit there and. If something happens, they go get the real pilot.
Right.
So.
What was the one? There's this one airline. It's like Qatar or Emirates Airways or Qatari Airways or something like that. Like something like with the super nice airplane interiors or something. Mm-hmm. Like I always want to fly on. Like they don't fly to the U.S., but I want to go fly on one of those.
Yeah. So there's Qatar, Emirates, and Etihad. The Arab carriers, they know how to do luxury.
Yeah.
And because they have sheikhs and stuff flying on these things.
Right.
And
let me go get a little shakeness.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But then there's some sheikhs that actually own their own A380.
Right.
And that's what they fly around in.
Right. We're talking about the peasant sheikhs that are in first class, right?
Right. They have to. Oh,
not the real
commercial.
Not the emirs, right?
The Pope flies Alitalia.
Right. So, right.
He's flying commercial. Now, granted, it's chartered, but he's flying. I think the royal family flies BA too, so they don't have an Air Force.
They have to.
They
can't be royal family flying. Flying some special Concorde that they had retrofitted for them. You can't be doing that. Not on the people's dime.
Right.
Although apparently they have their own money, so
that's what I've heard too.
I heard they have their own. In fact, they have to give a portion of it, I think, back to the state or something, or the country. I'm not sure. No, I think they get some money from the country, but from what I understand, all the lands and estates are theirs. So like real estate wise and property wise,
Yeah.
they're loaded.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, I'm sure Buckingham Palace is probably worth a pretty penny.
Well, plus they're related to some other royals and some other countries that have other estates and whatnot.
Well, it's funny. Like during World War One, they were all related.
Right.
So the king, I think it was the King of England, the Kaiser, and the Tsar. They were all cousins. Like they're all family.
Right.
And talk about just getting there based upon nothing. Like, you have no qualifications. There's no meritocracy. Like, you just have to be born to the right guy. You're born in the right family. You're in charge now.
Right. Like Prince William has any redeeming qualities to let him be the king of a country.
Yeah.
Like he was born first.
Yeah.
To the right guy.
Right. Yeah.
Congratulations, you win.
Good, just luck of the draw. Literal luck of the draw.
Right.
But I mean, he seems like a decent enough dude. He's,
I'll be honest with you. I think that's a curse. Just because you now, from the time you're born, you live in a fishbowl.
Oh yeah.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Like at least back when he was born, the world wasn't what it is today as far as like access and internet and how quickly media gets around and where it can go. Like, I'd say the last 15 years of that dude's life, like just lights, camera, action all the time. From the day his mother died.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, well, I mean, she died because of it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like who, like if you had to give up every freedom you had, but you got to be king. Yeah. I mean, it's like that old King Ralph, right? Yeah. Remember that movie King Ralph? Like, it's like at the end of the movie, Ralph's like, "Nah, I'm good." Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if everyone's going to make that choice because everyone says, they'll pay more money. Yeah. It's not more money, more problems. It's more money, more money. Yeah. So, I mean, who knows how each person would react, but I don't know. I mean, but going back to like customer service, it's like, as a business owner, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place because you don't know if the reviews online are going to tank your business. Yeah. But on the other side of things, you can't just cave to every single, whiny Janice out there. Yeah. It's just, you're going to go broke or someone's going to see that they can take advantage of you. Mm-hmm. And then more people are going to come and try and take advantage of you and you're going to go out of business anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. That, the whole thing of, when you get into this, especially like it kind of leads into the cancel culture talk that's going on. And when Goya went and he visited Donald Trump and everyone said, boycott Goya. Nobody did. They're doing just fine.
In fact, more people bought Goya beans because of it.
Yeah. People who probably would have never bought Goya anything.
Well, I think people realize that the people that cause a stink and want to boycott everything don't have any money. Right. Like you don't have money in your 20s. Yeah. Like you want to boycott everything for this virtuous reason, but you're 25. Right. You're making $15 an hour, if that. You don't have the money to boycott Amazon.
Yeah, go ahead, boycott.
You have to buy from Amazon because you can't afford that thing anywhere else.
Right, or go ahead and boycott BMW. Right. Like you're ever buying a BMW. Right. But like, okay, you're boycotting the same way because you can't afford us. Right.
That's I mean, it's like me saying I'm going to boycott Rolls Royce. Yeah. Guess what? I wasn't buying a Rolls Royce anyway because I can't afford it. You know what I mean? Like, so you know what? I'm making it official today. Boycott Rolls Royce. Yeah, that's why take that Rolls Royce.
Yeah, that's why I'm not driving a Rolls. I'm gonna throw
Bentley too. Why don't I throw them in there?
Bentley, screw them.
Boycott is on. Yeah, I'll show them.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. I'm
bougie
sure they're
cars.
Yeah, they're really angry that I'm not in their showroom right now.
Right.
But I don't know. Now, how do you feel about my ideal customer service thing is I don't necessarily want them to I just want responsive. That like I'm not necessarily like if I send them an email to their customer service email, send an email back like written by a person.
By a person. Yes.
Not and you can tell when it's not written by a person, like when it's just a bot that's throwing it back at you. Right. Especially below it says, "Do not respond to this email." Right,
it's
an unmonitored email.
Unmonitored email.
Thanks.
Well, that means you probably didn't monitor the sending either.
Right.
Thanks.
But like, if you can set up I don't need to talk to somebody. In fact, I prefer not to. Especially if it means not having to go through the annoying customer service menu.
Let me ask you: when you're on the phone, and they're saying, "Say yes" or press 1. Say no or press 2. I'm not one,
Yeah.
two. Why even give me the option to talk? Or you want to know what bothers me the most? When they get rid of the option to press 1 or 2,
And you have to talk.
Right.
Right.
Don't want to talk to it. I'm annoyed enough. I have to make a phone call.
Yeah, I don't want to call anyone.
Right. I don't listen. The last time I picked up an actual phone call was never. I shouldn't say. It's been at least unless it's my wife or one of my aunts.
Yeah.
I'm not picking up the phone.
Yeah.
If it's that important, you'll leave me a message.
That's how I look at it.
And I will text you back. I hate talking on the phone. But so I mean anytime I call, even if I got to refill a prescription, CVS doesn't give me the option to press 1 for yes.
Yeah.
I'm instantly pissed off.
Oh, and the thing is, like, I want it to, like, understand how frustrated I am. Like, it says press 1 for, or say yes. And I'm like, yes.
Right. So angry.
Or drop an F-bomb in there. It doesn't make it do it any faster.
The other thing I hate is when they ask you to punch in your account number. No, give me a real person who can find my account number by my first and or last name.
Yeah.
If I'm calling you about something, I'm too pissed off to get my account number.
And then your account number is like 37 digits. It's like a VIN.
And oh my God. And you get to like the 6th digit and you accidentally fat finger it and type the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And then you got to hit the star button to go back to, and then you're starting at the beginning.
Yeah.
And you've got to go through the entire spiel again.
Yep.
And it's like, you know what? No.
And then you
Whatever's
can't
bothering me, keep it.
And then you can't even hit redial of the phone because it's now made the number like
Right.
it's got like symbols in it.
It's the
like,
phone number plus 20 more digits.
Like press 1. Yeah. I'd rather not do any of that. And the thing is, if you're going to ask me to tell the story about what's going on,
Yeah.
and I hear you typing, you're typing something.
The next person better be able to read.
Yeah, just
I can read the story.
Just say, now, granted, I don't expect you to be able to type. You're not a transcriptionist,
Right?
Like it's not the court reporter. Like they're not doing shorthand, and may I have to fill in some gaps, but you get the general gist of what's going on.
Right.
I shouldn't have to start with day 1 of the story. And the thing with it is, there are so many botched deliveries. We had to give day 1 of the story. Like, I could just rattle it off. And there's a great commercial when the guy, he's calling his insurance company. It's a pretty old commercial. And it said, enter your name and your account number. He has it recorded. He puts play.
Yeah.
He just sits, like, leans back.
So, it's with Home Depot, when you gave the story the first time, you shouldn't even have to give the story the first time. The person should be able to look at what your account or your order number
And see everything that's going on.
and see, okay, you've had 5 delivery dates.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, sir. We're going to fix this right now.
Yep.
The buck stops here.
Yeah.
The best customer service is when you call the first time, and that person, that first time you call, has the authority to fix your problem.
Yep.
I don't want you to have to bump it up to a manager. I don't want, because again, if I go to a manager, I got to explain the whole story over again.
Yeah.
Let your first line customer service people, give them the authority to fix the problem.
Yeah.
Because what are they going to do? Cost you an extra $10?
Yeah.
But you want to know what? They got the customer who's going to come back and tell 10 of their friends that they got great customer service from you.
Yeah.
And will more than make up for that $10. Mm-hmm. More than make up for it.
Yeah.
I just think like there's a way to do customer service if you want your business to succeed. Mm-hmm. And there's a way to do customer service where you just don't care. And your business still may succeed, but you're going to get a bad reputation. And eventually I would imagine that you're going to run out of customers.
Yeah.
It's like going to if you go to a mechanic and the mechanic screws over enough people, eventually no one's going to recommend that mechanic anymore.
Right.
And everybody goes to a mechanic based on a recommendation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, unless they're new to the area, and then they might swing in, but you're going to lose them too.
Yeah, well,
eventually you're going to lose your customers, right? Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully, but customer service is dead. But I will say this: customers are a pain.
Yeah,
they really.
Oh, I could. Yeah.
People on the other side of the desk need to chill the hell out.
Yeah, and I try. I try not to be. And the thing is, like, dealing with the actual employees themselves. Like, look, I know it's not your fault, and I'm angry here to say I'm not angry with you. I'm angry at the situation, but you're the representative of the company. And then the one person's apologizing profusely, like, dude, you didn't do any of this.
Right. You didn't say you don't touch copper.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
You didn't not put the picture in the email like you should have.
Right.
Like from the break.
They're there to fix the problem that someone else caused.
Yeah.
And like the person with me, you know what? She got me $400, went back to bat for me, got me $600.
Yeah. And
you know what? I'll go back to Home Depot now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, those are big ticket items.
Mm-hmm.
For Home Depot not to make it right on a $2,000 item, when it's hard enough to get someone in there to buy that $2,000 item, because not everyone, I mean, there, like you said, you can go to Best Buy, you can go to Lowe's. I mean, Home Depot and Lowe's fight tooth and nail.
Oh, yeah.
Never mind all the appliance stores. If I was Home Depot, I would have been like, look, sir, I'm sorry. We're going to give you $400 for making this wrong.
Yeah.
That at least stops you from searching
for
a couple days. It at least gives them one more try to get it right.
Yep.
And they're pretty much just like, nah, we're good, man.
Yeah.
Sorry it didn't work out for you.
Right. Now, what they did do is they did give me so my whole experience with Home Depot cost them $150 because they gave me a $150 gift certificate to Home Depot.
Right.
Which,
well, hey, that's something.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I'm not going to, once the order was canceled, I didn't expect them to be like, oh, well, I'm going to give you $500. Like, we canceled the order. Like, what do they care?
Right.
You know, so the fact that they did that, but the point is that we had to get to that point with it.
Yeah.
You know, when, like you said, if you gave that first person the authority and the autonomy to be able to say, like, no, I'm gonna kill this now. Yeah. Like, that goes the first person I talked to, like, then I'm telling everyone, like, yeah, I called them up. I talked to one person. It was squared away.
Yeah. And that's what happened with us. The first person we talked to, when we called up after with the dent.
Yeah.
We called the number. First person we talked to, she took care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to be on hold a couple times, but shoot, I mean, being on the phone with her for 30 minutes got me a $600 discount.
Oh yeah,
I'm good with that.
Yeah, try to make that hourly rate.
Right,
$1,200 an hour.
Sold. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, I guess at this point it's like, yeah, I hope customer service isn't dead. But again, like I said, I understand that customers, if you're nice, you know, the old phrase "catch more flies with honey," right? Especially if you're the customer, that generally rings true.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get better customer service if you're just nice to the person when they scream. They know they messed up.
Yeah.
They know.
Right.
And
because who else is going to sit through that beep, beep?
Right.
You know, it's you know, we had when I was traveling with my dad and got bumped off a flight and went up. Everyone's yelling and screaming at the gate agent. And my dad walks up and is nice. Gets us on the next flight with an upgrade. So, like, yeah, be nice. And my dad was like, yelling at this guy's going to get you nowhere.
Yeah.
So,
now at the same time though, I have yelled before. Like, I was in a car dealership. I yelled at the guy because we were there. We were making a deal on a car. We got final numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, cool, let's do it. Got in the F&I office. Numbers completely changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like $5,000 difference.
Ooh.
I was irate. I left irate at that place. But, you know, I also knew I was burning that bridge when I left.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm never coming back here. But good conversation as far as, you know, customer service. I mean, everyone says customer service is dead, but I also think that people that say customer service is completely dead are also people that yell, scream, holler.
Yeah.
Then they're probably getting some of the treatment that they probably deserve.
Yeah, it's coming right back at them.
And hopefully you like, subscribe, comment, share, rate us on the podcast platforms, Google, Apple, and we will see you next time.